So if you watched Dune last week and you heard Lady Jessica saying the Litany of Fear, you might have thought like, oh, that's an interesting way to relate to emotions. And if you're like me, you're like, oh, is that talking about emotion suppression, or is that talking about like emotional acceptance, mindfulness, willingness? And it could be read either way. And I think there might be something interesting to look at there in terms of how we be with emotions, and related to that, emotional eating. So if you saw Dune, then Lady Jessica was reciting it in the hallway. I won't say more about that because I don't want to spoil anything. But here is the Litany of Fear. It goes, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. When it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to its path. And where the fear is gone, there will be only nothing. Only I will remain. So we could look at it a couple different ways, right? The beginning actually sounds a lot like emotion suppression. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. That sounds like a pretty good. It sounds like they're really heading towards suppression there, right? Like I can't feel that. I must not feel that. I mean, total obliteration is a pretty high cost for feeling something, right? But then in the second half, it goes totally the other way. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. When it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see its path. And where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. That sounds like I will be with it. I will allow it. I will be like a mindful observer of it. And in observing it, I will get the perspective and the distance that allows me to still take action in line with my values. That's a very different thing, right? So we've got these two different perspectives, like these two different reads of it. If I wanted to deliberately push it towards contextual behavioral science and like acceptance commitment therapy, acceptance commitment coaching, kind of a perspective, I could say like it might be a little bit like we could read it all as cognitive diffusion. Now, cognitive diffusion is about getting some space. It's about getting some perspective. McKay and West in the book Emotion Efficacy Therapy define it as the ability to experience a full range of emotions and respond with acceptance, values-based action, and mindful coping. And so we could read it as that that the beginning is about fusion with fear. Fusion would be like connecting to the fear, like being overwhelmed by the fear, right? Being overwhelmed in a way that we don't have any perspective, we don't have any mindfulness, we can't take action in line with our values. So in that way, we could read it as, I must not be fused with fear. Fusion with fear is the mind killer. Fusion with fear is the little death that brings total obliteration, right? Then we could read the rest as, I will permit it to pass over and through me with diffusion. And when it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see its path. That would be like the observing self. And where the fear is gone, there will be nothing, only I will remain. That would be the observing self. And diffusion, that would be our ability to notice and be with our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings in such a way that we can still take action in line with our values. We can still do what matters to us, right? And so we could read it, even though I think most people read it as suppression. I think maybe even in the book it might have gone towards suppression, emotional suppression. I think we could actually totally read it as cognitive diffusion, and so, or as willingness, acceptance, observing self. We could read it like that also. Now this brings up, if you are in Dune, if you're in the movie and you're fighting for your life, do you want willingness or do you want suppression? And the answer is, I don't know. The truth is, I don't know which one you want, because everything is values dependent, right? Like I tend to talk about a lot with emotional eating. not suppressing emotions, not suppressing cravings, because there's a rebound effect, right? If you suppress emotions, there's a rebound and you feel it more. If you suppress cravings, eventually there's rebound and you end up eating more. So we don't want to suppress on a regular basis because there's a rebound effect, and so it especially doesn't work with emotional eating. But in life, there could be situations where suppression is the values-based action, right? I had a time in my life where someone that I loved stopped breathing, and other people were crying and were really freaked out. I suppressed my emotion. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I basically suppressed all of my emotions and had someone call 911 and did CPR and did all the things. And I did my crying later. There absolutely was a rebound, but the appropriate thing in that situation actually was suppression. That's what allowed for more performance. That allowed for the value-based action. That allowed for saving someone, right? But there are other situations, like I ran cross country and at the arcade and track and at the Arcadian night meet and at the state meet. Like I didn't have words for it at the time, but after a couple of years, I'd come to instinctively learn that it was actually okay to be totally afraid and to have thoughts like, I shouldn't be doing this. Why did I sign up for this sport? I'm going to do terribly. I was able to like be with the feelings of my body. I always felt tired. My legs felt heavy. I started to feel like I was getting sick before big races, and it was fine. I still ran my race. I still hit my pace. I still ran my race strategy. It was fine. When I do workshops, I'm super freaked out beforehand. Now I very deliberately use cognitive diffusion because I can defuse from those emotions and thoughts and being worried about going well and being freaked out about who's in the audience and all that stuff, and still do a great workshop and give an effective talk. I know that I can be freaked out and still make a difference. And so in that situation, then willingness, acceptance, observing self is what allows for more performance. And so in the world of Dune, I don't know what allows for more performance. I don't know which way it is in a knife fight to the death in the desert. But I did want to throw out there that there are times where rarely, right? Not regularly, but there are times where emotional suppression might actually allow for more performance. But most of the time, it's actually acceptance, willingness to feel, willingness to be with thoughts and emotions and internal sensations that allows for more performance in line with the values, with our values and with the things that matter to us. But it is your values and things that matter to you that actually determine that. You get to say. And so that's always the cool thing. And so that was a look at Dune and the Litany of Fear and emotion suppression versus acceptance and willingness and observing self and how that might relate to like just being with emotions in general from a contextual behavioral science perspective and by extension emotional eating.